Good afternoon, and welcome to the regular meeting of the City of Glendale Commission on the Status of Women. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Burns.
Present.
Commissioner Devine.
Here.
Commissioner Kajayan. Commissioner Wiseman.
Present.
Ex officio Jabarian.
Present.
Ex officio Yagyayan.
Present.
Chair Miller.
Present. Thank you, Ms. Hidalgo. Next item on the agenda, please.
At 1A, report regarding the posting of the agenda. The agenda for the August 12, 2013 meeting was posted on the bulletin board outside of City Hall on or before August 9, 2013.
Thank you. Next item.
Item 2, introductions and presentations. At A, introductions of new commissioners, Linda Burns and Sharon Wiseman.
Thank you, Ms. Hidalgo. Good evening, Commissioners. I'd like to welcome back Linda Burns and Paula Devine. I apologize for not welcoming you back last time, but Commissioner Burns was reappointed by Councilman Sinanian, and Commissioner Devine was reappointed by Councilman Friedman. And I would also like to welcome our newest commissioner, Sharon Wiseman. And Commissioner Wiseman was appointed by Councilman Quintero to the Commission on the Status of Women. Commissioner Wiseman has been a resident of Glendale for 27 years. She has a bachelor's degree in information service systems and worked in various organizations, including Warner Brothers and Los Angeles Community College District, before retiring as Director of Information Technology from 20th Century Fox in 2011. She is very involved in the Glendale community, including membership in various organizations and civic groups like Glendale Beautiful, the Women's Civic League of Glendale, Glendale Burbank League of Women Voters, Glendale Historical Society, and many more. We are very excited and happy to have you on the commission. Welcome.
Thank you.
Well, it's very nice to have a full commission, so welcome back to all the commissioners who were recently appointed, as well as to you, our new appointee. Did you want to say a few things? Or
Very briefly, I want to thank Councilmember Frank Quintero for nominating me, and look forward to learning from all of you as we try to increase the status of women and girls in Glendale.
Great. Commissioner Burns, did you want to add anything?
Thank you.
Okay. Next item.
Item 2B, recognition of outgoing commissioners and staff.
Yes. We as a commission wanted to take this opportunity. We have a few people to recognize, and I've asked Commissioner Burns to head towards the podium as we recognize, first off, our student ex officios who will be going on to bigger and better things, but will always remain in our hearts. I wanted to take a little bit of time on behalf of the Commission just to recap what they've meant to us this year. As you know, our mission and purpose is to advance social justice and equity and to ensure equality of the rights and opportunities for all women and girls in Glendale. We do this by building bridges between the city's diverse groups, associations, agencies, and individuals. We increase the knowledge of the community regarding women's issues and the status of women. And through that, we hope to elevate the status of women. To that end, we've had 2 students who've represented our mission both at the high school and at the college level. Commissioner student ex officio Serene Jerubian recently graduated from Glendale High School and plans to become a family lawyer someday. Her goal on the commission was to understand the needs of the community and to help Glendale women receive the equality that we deserve. She was very active at Glendale High, and most notably as the president of the Cancer Awareness Club. During the October Army of Pink campaign, which was to promote the awareness of breast cancer, many of us had the opportunity firsthand to see how much she can mobilize groups and bring them together to raise awareness about a cause. We appreciated her being the voice for us within the high school and providing input back to the commission about all of the different things that we were attempting to do throughout the year. Amy Yagian attends Glendale Community College and is majoring in marketing and public relations. One of Amy's primary goals on the commission was to teach girls to empower themselves. She very much practiced what she preached by defining stereotypes and joining the first robotics team at Crescenta Valley High School. After graduation, she continued to mentor the CV Falcons robotics team and also mentors on the first LEGO League for younger students aged 9 to 14. Additionally, she was the Crescenta Valley and Rosemont Prom Plus Club's founder, which hosts a prom party to keep students safe after prom. Amy also founded the Crescenta Valley Town Council Youth Board and the Firehouse Youth Center. What both of these students are evident to us is that you've provided valuable input and insight. You were actively involved in helping us to design the Teen Dating Awareness Palm Cards and discussing the issue with your peers. You helped tremendously on the outreach for our self-defense classes, so much so that we were able to offer a third one this year during April with the Sexual Assault Awareness Month. These are just a few of many of your contributions that both of you have made throughout the year. We are grateful for the service that you provided to the Commission and to our community. It is with heartfelt thanks that each one of us on this Commission and staff and myself thank you for a very productive year. We wish you much success in your future, and we hope that you continue to stay involved in the Commission as the wonderful and active community members that you both are. Now we have plaques for both of you, so if you want to go on down to the podium to receive them, and if you'd like to say anything, I guess you could say it from the podium.
First of all, I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to be on this commission. I've met people I never thought I would meet. I've learned so much, and so many events that have occurred that have been an injustice to women, and it's been great being a part of a team that works so hard. So I'm really going to miss it. It's so sad to see, I only had a year, actually, but it was a good year. So thank you so much for everything.
I'm so honored to have been given this opportunity, and it gave me so many other opportunities, like working with the YWCA and so many different organizations throughout the community. So thank you so much for giving both of us this opportunity and helping us grow.
Yep. And now we'd like to ask Christine Powers to come to the podium. Just a few things about Christine. She served as our staff liaison to the Commission for the many past years. In this capacity, she worked closely with us commissioners to keep us on track and moving forward in a progressive manner, both in between meetings, right up until the meeting, and at the meeting. Christine is highly regarded by both our Commission, by the City, Council, staff, and the community at large. The entire Commission found Christine to be pleasant to work with and meticulous in all matters concerning the CSW programs. We also appreciate that you took the added responsibility this year of teaching and coordinating both sessions at Camp Rosie. We know that it was no small feat to add to your daily obligations and management staff, and we are forever grateful to you for your dedication to us at the Commission. We will miss you greatly, and luckily we only have to walk up one floor to see you, or see you out in the community, and to see you in your new and expanded role within the city management. We congratulate you, we thank you, we will miss you, and we wish you all the best.
Of course.
Well, thank you so much. I wasn't expecting this, but truly it's been my privilege and honor to serve the Commission on the status of women and to work with each of you and also the past commissioners. It's a nice, unique opportunity to work directly and get to know members of the community who are truly dedicated to making Glendale a better place, in this case for women and girls. And I have to say, I've learned a lot from each of the commissioners I've worked with, and the relationships I've built I will take away with me, and look forward to seeing you all out in the community and keeping the relationship going. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I will miss each and every one of you very dearly. To the new commissioners, this is a fabulous commission, and I wish you all the best. And students, I'll miss you. But thank you so much, and I'll be back.
We also want to take this opportunity to acknowledge two of our outgoing commissioners who are not with us today. One is traveling back from out of the country, and another is in class. Chris Garsafanian and Vache Tashtian. We want to thank you for your dedication and support of the Commission. We know that Commissioner Tashtian will continue to be a commissioner over in the CDGB and will add value and high regard for the work that they take on there. We will miss him, but we wish him all the best. We appreciated the input that we received from Chris Garsafanian, as well as what he was able to bring to us in terms of the younger population and their needs and where we might go as a commission. We know that he is steadfast in his commitment to education, and we wish him all the best as he pursues that full time. Thank you.
The next item is item 2C, Advocacy, Fighting for Women's Causes, Chris Carson, Campaign Finance Redistricting Program Director, League of Women Voters of California, Healthcare Reform.
I would like to welcome with us today Chris Carson. Chris has long been an active member of the League of Women Voters. In 2005, she joined the board of directors of the League of Women Voters of California, being responsible for voter education and advocacy relating to state and local government, and was a key player in the adoption of the Independent Citizens Redistricting Commission and its initial redistricting effort in 2011. Chris received a master's in history from USC and taught American history government at several local colleges. She is currently director for redistricting and campaign finance for the League of Women Voters of California and serves on the Campaign Finance Task Force. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you, Commissioners, for this opportunity to speak to you. Since this is advocacy, we're recognizing determined advocacy for women and women's rights and women's needs. It really is appropriate that we do talk about health care reform, because it's the perfect example of how determined advocacy stretching over literally decades slowly but surely advances the good causes. Health care coverage for Americans first was raised in the New Deal. Not that many people know it, but it was originally part of the legislation partnered with the Social Security Act. However, there were groups in Congress that violently objected to the health care portion because it would cover African Americans. And the opposition was so fierce that that portion of it had to be dropped, or they would have lost everything, including the Social Security Act. You may not know it, but in California in 1947, then Governor Earl Warren put forward a proposal to cover Californians with health care. That didn't go very far. As you all know, though, in the 1960s, the first Medicare bill was passed, which really did tremendous amount for senior citizens, including senior women who desperately needed it. Again, in the 1990s, there was an attempt to get some kind of federal health care coverage, which failed. But, coming back and never being discouraged, health care advocates, including many, many women, finally succeeded in passing the Patient Protection and Affordable Health Care Act in 2010. Why women, many millions of Californians will be covered by it, but women particularly need to pay attention to what the new law is, because it represents a tremendous gain for women. What this will mean for California women, millions of California women. It has established a state marketplace where individuals and small businesses, and many women are small business owners, and they really want to do the right thing for their employees, can, go online or in person or by phone, find affordable health care coverage. Our marketplace is called Covered California, and everyone needs to know about it so they can find out what they're going to get. This law will help individuals and families with low and moderate incomes determine if they qualify for federal assistance that will reduce their health care costs. Many small businesses will also be able to give their employees health care coverage using federal tax credits as well. So what you need to know is that all health care insurance plans, except those before March 10th, 2010, now have to cover you and your family, even if you have a pre-existing health care condition. So all the women who were denied coverage because they were cancer survivors, they will have to be given coverage. Your insurance can't drop you if you get sick. So if you get cancer or emphysema or diabetes, you will not come to the next day and find yourself without health care coverage. And if you make an honest mistake while applying, they can't use it to say, well, you didn't do it right, and so now you don't get health care coverage. The Affordable Health Care Act also strengthens Medicare and Medi-Cal and other vital programs for millions of people throughout California. And in addition, those people, those young women who graduate from college and still can't find a job, if they're under the age of 26, can still get medical insurance through their parents. So what are the basic things that women need to know? First, the insurance companies must justify their premium increases. They can't just hit you with a 20% increase and take it or leave it. 80% of your premium is required to go to medical coverage, not to salaries and marketing. There are no lifetime limits. Insurance can't set a maximum dollar amount on benefits that they'll pay for you in the future. And this is very important for women to know. All new health care plans must cover preventative care and medical screenings like mammograms and colonoscopies, as well as breastfeeding support, contraception, and domestic violence screening. They can't charge extra co-payments, co-insurance, or deductibles for any of the services I've just mentioned. All of the newly sold health plans have to give 10 basic areas of benefits. I would just highlight a couple that women should know about. They will have to include maternity and newborn care. They will have to include pediatric services, including dental and vision care. So you think about what this means. A child will no longer fall behind in school because they can't read the book or see the board or hear the teacher. Or they won't sit in class with severe tooth pain because of untreated cavities. It also will cover prescription drugs and lab services and chronic disease support. So, the insurance plan will be grouped by cost and value. What you would do is you would go on the website, coveredcalifornia.org, and you will look at all the offered plans across the board. You don't have to hunt and peck. It's just there for you. And you've got a cost calculator. And you say, put in what I can afford to spend on health insurance per month and what that will buy me. And then you just look at all the offered plans and pick the plan that suits you. If you are below a certain income level, there are financial services, federal tax credits for both individuals and for small businesses that probably would help you make up the difference and allow you to buy some kind of basic health care coverage. So a woman, whether she's a single woman or a married woman or a small business owner, a single mother, whoever you are, you go to this website and you will find insurance at a price you can afford. Now, it's not going to drop in your lap. You've got to do it. You have to go to coveredcalifornia.org, and you've got to read the information and follow it. Now, the language is not a barrier. All the information is available in English and 12 other languages, including, for Glendale, Spanish, Armenian, and Korean, and a number of others as well. So all the information you need is there in the language that you can best understand, and if you're still confused or you still have questions, you can call. There will be a human body at the other end of the phone who will answer your questions, help you walk through it, and find the kind of plan you can afford that will suit your needs. What can I say? Think of what this means to the millions of women in California who don't have medical coverage because they can't afford it, or because even if they could afford it, the insurance company wouldn't give it to them. The relief that is to the mothers, to children, to grandmothers, to small business owners. This is an incredible advance that has taken, well, since the 1930s to accomplish. There will be bugs, there will be problems, and they'll be worked out over time. But we urge all women, we urge all Californians, but we urge California women in Glendale, to take advantage of this and go find out how they can become a part of this program. Thank you.
Ms. Carson, we have a few questions for you. Thank you very much for this very timely presentation. Now, have we received, is October 1st the date?
Yes.
And it's firm, it hasn't
It's firm.
changed, nothing's
It's firm.
changed?
Enrollment opens October 1st, and the coverage kicks in January 1st.
Okay. And are all women, or therefore all people, required to sign up with a plan?
Yes, you do. There is you are required to. If you already have health insurance, then it doesn't matter. You've got health insurance. If you don't have health insurance, you are required to sign up.
And there are ramifications if you don't, right?
There are ramifications. The penalty, you have to either buy it or pay a penalty. The penalty will be phased in over 3 years. And, but I would say, well, oh my God, I can't afford it. I mean, if you're below a certain income level, the law doesn't apply to you anyway. So if you're really low income, then you don't need to worry because it doesn't apply to you. I would urge people to really carefully look at it, because if you think you can't afford it, there are many options available to look into. They will help you. Maybe there is a way with for instance, federal tax credit that you could use to offset some of it so that you could afford a very basic plan. The same thing is true of small business owners. If you say, well, I can't afford it, there are federal tax credits available for small business owners as well. So to say, oh, I can't and I'm going to be penalized, there is help available to you, and you're urged to
Are there
find out.
local seminars leading up to the October 1st date that our community members might attend?
I don't know of any right now. I mean, Covered California, which is the official public-private partnership here in the state, does hold information things around the state. I could look on the website and tell you if there's going to be an information meeting soon. But I'll have to tell you, if you go on that website, they have covered absolutely everything anybody would want to know in clear, simple language that normal people can understand. It is not governmentese. It is simple.
Mm-hmm. Ms. Alexandrian, is there something we can take away from this message that's coming to us that can go on our website, or something we can do, some soundbite that if someone goes to our website, it will direct them, or at least list this Covered California option?
We can look into the websites that Ms. Carson provided and see if we can link it on our website so that women can go directly from the commission website to those.
Yeah,
For
linking
more
is-
information.
yeah, linking is probably the best, and if your website has the capacity, maybe to say in Spanish and Armenian and Korean, this is what it is, and you can get information in
Sure.
these languages. It can be very daunting.
Sure. Commissioner Devine?
Covered.
Is it covered,
Covered,
California?
California.
Covered, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
As in,
Dot
got
org?
you covered.
Got you covered, okay.
Yeah,
As
dot com.
.com.
Because it is not, it is a really good example of public-private partnership.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Seeing none, thank you so much for your time and information. Okay, next item.
Item 3, oral comment. Discussion is limited to items not a part of this agenda. Time is limited to an amount to be set by the chair. The commission may question or respond to the speaker, but there will be no debate or discussion. Staff may refer the matter to the proper department for investigation and report. I do not have any cards for you, ma'am.
Right, seeing that we have no additional speakers, let's go on to the next item, please.
Item 4, consent items. At A, approval of the minutes of the regular commission meeting held on July 8th, 2013.
Are there any changes that the commission would like made to the minutes? I'm looking at Commissioner Devine and Commissioner Kajoyan, who were present at the time. Do you have any changes to the minutes, or is there a motion to approve the minutes as presented?
I so move.
Second. Seeing that we have a consensus amongst the three of us, we'll take the next item on the agenda.
Item 5, business agenda. At A, action items. 1, selection of commission officers. At A, motion to select chair for the term of August 2013 to August 2014. And at B, a motion to select vice chair for the term of August 2013 to August 2014.
And at this point, I turn the meeting over to you, Ms. Hidalgo, the recording clerk, for our selection of commission chair.
Thank you. The business before the Commission of the Status of Women is the selection of a new chair. I will now entertain nominations for that office.
I nominate Commissioner Miller for the office of chair.
I second.
Okay. I have a nomination for Commissioner Miller. Are there any further nominations for the office of chair? Okay, seeing that there are no further nominations, I will proceed to the roll call. Commissioner Devine,
Yes.
Commissioner Burns,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller, Commissioner Kajayan,
Yes.
Commissioner Wiseman.
Yes.
I now declare Commissioner Miller the duly elected chair of the Commission on the Status of Women. Madam Chair, the task before you now is to open the floor for nominations for vice chair.
Great. I'd now like to open the floor for nominations for the role of vice chair for the term of August 2013 to August 2014. Do we have any nominations?
I'll nominate Commissioner Burns.
I second it.
Are there any further nominations for the office of vice chair? Hearing no further nominations, I'll proceed to the roll call. Commissioner Devine,
Yes.
Commissioner Burns,
Yes.
Commissioner Kajayan,
Yes.
Commissioner Wiseman,
Yes.
Chair Miller.
Yes.
Next item, 582, appointment of selection committee for the 2013-2014 student ex officio members.
If I may, Ms. Hidalgo, we are going to take one report. We're going to take the report a little bit out of order and come back to that. Could we move the update on Camp Rosie 2013 up on the report to allow our students that we have here to get back to the business of their last minutes of summer vacation?
Certainly, and that's item 5B1, update on 2013 Camp Rosie program.
Ms. Alexanian, can you provide a brief report on this item, please?
Sure.
Camp Rosie completed its seventh year in Glendale this summer, actually last Thursday. The camp is designed for young women and girls between the ages of 12 and 18 in order to empower them to make personal, educational, financial, and career choices from an expanded set of possibilities so they can achieve self-sufficiency, career satisfaction, and long-term financial security. We had 2 sessions of camp, and I have a couple of pictures that we took at the second session of the students, and I'll run through quickly. And we have some students here that participated in the second session of Camp Rosie to speak to the commission about their experience as well. But if you recall, last month we were afraid that we may not have enough participants for the second session, and commission direction was to cancel camp if we didn't have enough enrollment. And luckily, with commission help and increased outreach, we were able to meet our goal and held a second session of Camp Rosie. And I'd like to thank all the commissioners, especially Commissioner Kojayan, for all the referrals that you provided for us. The camp this year, we had 38 girls who participated in camp, 15 girls in the first session, and 23 girls in the second session. But we did have a total of 48 applicants who applied, but unfortunately some of the girls couldn't make it once the camp started, or had change in plans or family vacation plans and had to drop out of camp. You will notice that the first picture that we have up there is just the classroom setting, and this is where the girls spent majority of their time when they were inside the classroom. They had ARC Family Center come, and we had nutritional health, and the girls did a couple of financial literacy classes. We also had self-defense classes with Nelson Neo, and here's a picture of the girls with Nelson, and Commissioners Devine and Kojayan happened to visit them on that day and took a picture with the girls. We also had, as part of the nutrition and health session, the girls did Zumba, and I hear from Camp Director Ms. Powers that the girls loved this session and loved the Zumba and wanted to continue. We also had financial literacy. The girls were able to take a field trip to Junior Achievement, and it was actually my first time there, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I wasn't even participating. But, sorry, can you go back real quick? I'm sorry, Mr. Dalco. The girls were provided little cards, and the cards provide life situations for them and income. You know, you're a single mother, or you're a family of 5, and you have $20,000, or you have $80,000 income, and they're supposed to figure out their monthly net income and go out and budget for themselves. And I heard a lot of positive feedback, and hopefully some of the girls can talk about that experience. And the next slide is also some pictures of the girls. There's storefronts of banks, utility services, and the girls were able to go into each of those storefronts and use the computer to budget accordingly. We have the camp director, Christine Powers, and some participants with us today, and I'd like to call them up to the podium if the girls can come up to the podium and share with us their experience for camp. Staff will bring back a report with a recap of the financials and future discussions for commission feedback for future camps. Thank you, Ms. Powers.
Hi, told you I'd be back. So I had the unique opportunity to serve as camp director this summer, which was wonderful, coming from the administration side and, you know, setting everything up, to actually being a part of camp. I have 3 students with me from the second session. I have Frida Rodriguez, Ashley Rhodes, and Stella Petrosian, and I'll let them introduce themselves and tell you firsthand how they liked Camp Rosie. So.
Hi, I'm Ashley. My favorite part of Camp Rosie was the last day at JA Finance Park, because we learned a lot of things about how when you grow up, like what you're going to have to deal with, what situations you might have to overcome, and, it was, really, different and nice. It was really cool. And there was also self-defense, which you learned how to get away from, bad things that may happen or may not. And we also saw a police officer, a female police officer. She told us about her, how she came to her standard, like how she became what she is. And it was really, really, inspirational. It was really nice. And we learned a lot. So, yeah, it was.
Hi, I'm Stella. I'm 16 years old and I'm a junior. And overall, I feel like the experience is essential for any woman to know, especially financing and budgeting, because you never know what the future is going to throw at you. And I also really enjoyed the self-defense because overall, everything we did, it just prepared us for the future, or for any woman to know. Plus, we had the little sessions where we just talked about self-image, body image, and just to be confident in ourselves. And I feel like every woman should know that, and girls and women should know that, because it ensures their security, and they could just be independent and confident in themselves, and just secure in the future, so they don't get stuck in any situation that they can't get out of. And also the financial literacy, I feel like that was really useful for any girl to know, because especially in this economy, it's important to know everything that has to do with finance. And overall, I feel like this should continue, and more girls should go and learn about all this, so they'll be secure for their future. But yeah, it was a really good experience. I had a lot of fun. Even with the nutrition and the dancing, it was fun and we learned a lot. So I feel like it was really important.
Hi, I'm Frida Rodriguez. I'm 13 years old. I'm about to go into 8th grade. I really enjoyed this program because it showed me different ways how to live my life. And I really enjoyed those things because I used to be really shy. And now, as I'm standing in front of you guys, it is an honor, actually, because I've learned so many things about this place because I'm not from here. I'm from North Hollywood. I'm not from the Glendale community. But it was really nice to come here. I've especially liked the Zumba because it is something I've done, but it was nice to doing it with some of my friends that I made here. And I really enjoyed this opportunity, especially since I've come here to Camp Rosie. I've also liked the martial arts and the security about the police officers and how they showed me how to defend myself, because I used to be really uneducated of that, and I really liked it. So thank you.
Yes. Commissioner Kajoyan.
On July 30th, me and Commissioner Devine visited Camp Rosie. When I took this picture, I sent it to Aspar's newspaper. It's Armenian newspaper, and also the brochure that we have about the camp. And this is half page is written about Camp Rosie and all the activity. And they are so happy that this thing's happening in Glendale community, and they are praising and they are supporting. And they are saying to the community that next year, sign your kids to this Camp Rosie. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Devine.
Yes, I'd like to ask each one of the girls a question. If they'll, Ashley, how old are you?
I'm turning 14 on Monday.
14 on Monday. Well, happy birthday. What school do you go to here?
Hoover.
Hoover High. Oh, Hoover High School.
Hmm?
Well, yeah, that you'll be a freshman.
Yeah.
Okay. And Stella, which school do you go to?
I go to Clark Magnet High School.
Clark Magnet. Okay. And Frida, how did you hear, being from, can I say NoHo or?
Yeah.
How did you learn about Camp Rosie?
I've actually never heard of it until this past year.
Right.
I wanted to join last year, but my mom didn't have the time bring me. So it was really an honor to be here this year. But I learned because I was looking up different things, and I liked some things, but at the same time I didn't like what the other camps gave me. And since this was for all girls, my mom felt safe that I came to this community. So I learned about it in the internet.
On the internet.
And in
okay.
the newspaper.
Wonderful. Okay, now, my next question to all of you is, can you be ambassadors for Camp Rosie for next summer so that we can get 60 girls in this camp? You can go back to Clark, you can go back to Hoover, and you can go back to your high school and say to the generation, the next class coming in, or even your friends, say, I just went to the best class in the summertime. Would you do that for us? Yes? So we'll name you ambassadors, we'll dub you ambassadors of Camp Rosie. Okay, I'm glad that you enjoyed it and that you got so much out of it. Really appreciate it. And if I can take another minute, I didn't get a chance to wish Christine Powers a great future, and it was wonderful working with you for, 3-4 years when you came on. You were a quick study. You jumped right in, and I think you did a beautiful job with this commission, and I did so enjoy working with you, and it's been great, and we'll continue our friendship. Thank you, Christine, and thank you for stepping up and doing this. Was she great, huh? Did you love Christine? Yeah. Yes, okay. All right, very good, very good.
Now, if we offered things throughout the year, specifically, you all spoke about financial literacy, and you know we do have self-defense in April, so I hope you'll tell your friends even sooner. But if we were to look at offering smaller aspects of Camp Rosie, do you think that there would be an interest between you and your friends throughout the year, or did you... Okay, well, we'll keep you, we might tap into you sooner. We look forward to the connection. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much, Ms. Powers, for everything you did to make this year's success. Thank you also to Commissioner Kajoyan for really helping on the final push to help raise awareness both in the communities you serve and to help us reach our maximum. Along with Commissioner Devine and Commissioner Kajoyan, we attended various times of the different camps. I attended session 1 and they attended session 2. So we look forward to continuing this project throughout the year and also next summer. We hope to have a full group. Thank you. Okay. If we could go back to the existing agenda, please, Ms. Hidalgo.
Sure, that would be item 5A2, appointment of selection committee for the 2013-2014 student ex officio members. At A is a motion appointing 2 members to the selection committee.
Okay. When we have looked at this before, we've taken nominations amongst the commission. We can certainly look at that. It would be great in going forward, just in the continuity of the commission, if we could look at one of the participants being a person who has already been on our commission for years and has experience, as well as one of our new commissioners, as we look at the 2 people. So if there's no one opposed to that kind of thinking going forward, maybe each of us from each of those camps wants to volunteer.
Well, I just want to say that I was privileged to choose these 2, so I will pass the banner on to someone else. Good job, girls.
Commissioner Burns?
There too.
Right?
Yes, the 2 of us did that. Yes, so actually it would be...
I'm happy to, unless either of you don't want to do it, I'm happy to be the existing person. I've not done it yet, and I know it would be worthwhile. Now, moving over to this side of the dais, Commissioner Kajoyan and Commissioner Weissman, is there anyone who's so moved?
I agree with, whatever they done. They done a good job.
We need a committee. Are you willing to serve on that committee? We would appoint the next students. We would, okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Is that okay with you, Commissioner? All right. So now we need a motion.
Sure.
So that motion going, would you like to make a commotion?
Sorry, no, I was just
A commotion, not
Yeah.
a commotion.
Could you make
I'm not
it-
making a commotion.
No, Chair Miller, I was just going to state for the new commissioners just a brief report, just to let them know we're basically selecting a selection committee or for appointment of the future student ex officio commissioner. So since we have Chair Miller and, I'm sorry that I missed, was it Kojayan, Commissioner Kojayan? I guess we have our nominees for the selection committee.
Do we need a motion?
Yes.
We need a motion.
Yes, we do need a motion.
Okay, I'm-
Commissioner Devine.
Okay, I move that Chair Miller and Commissioner Kajayan be our representatives to select our new ex officios.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Commissioner Weissman. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And what students?
No.
And there are no objections? All in favor? Okay.
Seeing no objections to the, do you want to do roll call? Please do roll call.
No? If everyone's in favor.
Okay, we're in a consensus, so the motion is carried. Okay, next item on the agenda.
Item 5A3, consideration and discussion of Domestic Violence Awareness Month, DVAM, activities. At A, motion providing direction regarding Domestic Violence Awareness Month, DVAM.
Could we have a brief report on this, please, Ms. Alexanian?
Sure. The Commission on the Status of Women has organized Domestic Violence Awareness Month activities over the past several years for raising awareness of DVAM, Domestic Violence Awareness Month activities and ways of preventing violence, to invite the public to events and activities related to the goals and core mission of the Commission, and to offer practical tips and suggestions on simple everyday actions anyone can take to help raise awareness as well as prevent and eliminate violence within the city of Glendale. Historically, the Commission has and may consider requesting a proclamation from the Mayor and City Council to designate October 2013 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And it's typically done the first Tuesday in October. So the date for that would be October 8, should Commission wish to consider requesting a proclamation. Furthermore, annually a candlelight vigil is held in partnership with the Glendale YWCA. And the vigil is held in memory of victims of domestic violence, both survivors and those who have lost their lives. The vigil has also provided an opportunity for awareness, education, and outreach to the community. Speakers at the vigil have included victims of domestic violence and representatives from organizations such as the Glendale YWCA and the Commission and Glendale Police. The YWCA has shown interest in holding a vigil this year, and a potential date would be October 17th. Staff is also exploring idea of a purple ribbon event for this year in partnership with the Glendale YWCA, where volunteers will help raise awareness of domestic violence by passing out purple ribbons and flyers or cards with resources for women at the Glendale Galleria or the Americana at Brand. And staff would update a Women and Families resource guide that this commission has put together. So we would work on updating that resource guide and making it available the day on the Purple Ribbon Day event, where the volunteers would be able to pass that out to the community. These are some options that staff has explored. Staff is recommending Commission provide direction regarding the DVAM activities in October.
I do want to just take the opportunity as we're reading through the report. I do want to thank Commissioner Devine. She met with our community partners, the YWCA, both Michelle Roberts, their executive director, and Lisa Raggio, Community Outreach, on solidifying and confirming our activities. So it's very much appreciated that we're able to have this at this meeting. Now, at this point, we don't need, we don't have to go forth and solidify these dates at this meeting, or we very
No.
simply could.
right?
Chair Miller, you don't have to solidify the dates. You could just provide direction if commission it would like to go in that direction and would like to partner, and if you're okay with that, and staff can work on the details and come back to you in September with a report. So,
Do you want to add any comments, Commissioner Devine?
I do. On the Purple Ribbon event, I had some thoughts. We're going to update the resource guide, which I think is a terrific idea. And I also had a thought that we can make this an interactive event for the children that are there, because if we're at the Galleria and the Americana, there will be a lot of parents with kids, and we can use our Hands and Words program that we have in the schools. It's an interactive anti-violence program. We can have the kids take the pledge and give them a pin or whatever we happen to have on hand that's part of that program. It's a way of, it's a proven fact that domestic violence is cyclical. It does occur in cycles. It starts at the home. Kids see it at home, and they continue to do it. If we can stop the violence when they're young, or teach them when they're young that using their hands or their words for hurting themselves or others is not the way to go, I think we're doing a good thing for the community. So I think for the adults, we can give purple ribbons. For the kids, we can have the Hands and Word print there and show them and have them take the pledge. I also would like to suggest that our ex officios come back and help us with this, because we're going to need a lot of volunteers if we do it. I think we should do it. The idea was to do it at both locations, Galleria and the Americana, so that we can get as many people aware of what we're doing. And so we can use Glendale Community College, and they have a program there that they're doing in collaboration with the YWCA, so we can use those volunteers, and perhaps Commissioner Kajayan can get volunteers from the ARS and the kids there, and we can have a really good presence, a big, huge presence, and I think we can touch so many people at this particular event, so we can really make an impact. And it was suggested that we do this in the third week of October, because that's when the National Domestic Violence Awareness Day is. So the YW has suggested that we do it during the third week.
So at this point, thank you, Commissioner Devine. At this point, can we agendize this Purple Ribbon Week for discussion with a presentation of exactly what we might do and a vote for September? We'll vote?
Well, if Commission is interested in the Purple Ribbon event in partnership with the YWCA, then staff will work with the YWCA and bring back a report in September
in more detail.
With the details, right, of what the event would entail.
Okay.
Question? Do you want different motions for each one of these, or do you want a motion for all of them at once?
Well, it's just a motion to provide direction, so
Right.
Commission could say, yes, we are interested in both events or activities or three, proclamation, the vigil, and the Purple Ribbon, and then if there's any other suggestions that you'd like staff to explore.
Traditionally, what we've done, and I'm sure you're aware of this, we can take this as one motion, or we can take them individually. During the past year, when we've had a number of events, we've taken them individually. So it seems that proclamation for domestic violence, candlelight vigil, we need a motion to go forward with those, and then the Purple Ribbon event, we need to provide direction to staff. It's not a new event because we've done it before, but it's coming back, and we would want to provide more detail around that, or we would want to get more detail around that. So it's really up to this commission to make one motion or to make more.
If I may, Chair Miller, if you're looking for very specific direction that you want to give to staff, then you might want to parse them out and do them separately.
Right.
But if the desire is to move forward on each of them and to come back with reports for all three, then you can entertain that in a single motion.
Thank you for clarifying. Any discussion? Yes. Commissioner Kajoyan.
I'm going to add on, I received a call from St. Peter's Church. They used to walk on the Domestic Violence Awareness Day in October. This year, they like to participate, but they didn't set the date yet. And this organization called Datev Outreach, which they reach and to help, and they participate in this domestic violence. But when they called me, they said how we can work together as a partnership. And I'm asking the Commission, is there a way we can collaborate with them?
I would think, given more details, that would certainly be something that could come before the Commission, and we would be interested in having the discussion. Thank you for...
Okay, I'm going to call them and let them send us what they are doing.
Chair Miller, Commissioner Kojayan, I could, if you would like to give me their contact information, I'd be more than happy to contact them and find out more about the organization and how they would like to partner as part of this event. If I understood you correctly, I think they want to participate in the Candlelight Vigil and the event, and so I can find out more information.
But also they are going to walk by themselves. They didn't set the date yet.
They have a walk that they do. They haven't set the date
yet.
They want us to partner with them on that. But it would still be helpful, Ms. Alexanian, if you were able to work with Commissioner Kajoyan to help us gather that information so we could come back and view it.
Also, they invited us. They have a mixture night in my favorite place on October 16, but they are going to send us the invitation. They are going to explain what does this organization do.
Commissioner Devine.
Yes. As I understand it, they're looking to collaborate with us and possibly have us do a grant or in some way, like a flyer or ribbons for them, do it in some sort of a collaboration like that. So it would be kind of an easy thing for us to do, and I think would be a great collaboration. So I hope that can go forward.
Okay, I can forward you the email.
Sure. Okay, so so if we could take each of these in terms of action and moving forward, if we could have, I'm going to take the motions individually. So regarding proclamation for Domestic Violence Awareness Month, in terms of action for staff, can I have a motion that they move forward on setting up the proclamation date for us for October 8th in City Council?
I would make that motion.
And do we have a second?
Second it.
Thank you. It appears that we have consensus on that matter, so we'll move on to the next one. Candlelight Vigil. This is an annual event that we have collaborated with the YWCA on. The date is set for October 17th. The action or the motion would be to direct staff to move forward in the planning of the events for the Candlelight Vigil. Do we have a motion on this item?
I so move.
And do we have a second? Second by Commissioner Kajoyan. And do we have consensus on this? Commissioner Devine? Yes. Okay, moving forward. Purple Ribbon Event. The action item on this would be to direct staff to move forward in gathering more information specifically about this collaboration, identifying the date, our community partnership with the Glendale YWCA, and coming back to us so that we could move forward on the event planning.
Madam Chair, help me on this one. You said we've had this before?
The Purple Ribbon Event is...
Okay, right? Okay.
I don't know.
I don't recall the Purple Ribbon event ever.
There was some event that we went to where they gave...
No.
Okay.
So I'm thinking
Is this a national of this Purple Ribbon, or is this a name that you identified with them? Yes.
The Purple Ribbon is a domestic violence awareness.
Right.
It's anti-violence, and this event is an idea that came from myself and from Michelle and Lisa Rajo at the YWCA. And I proposed something similar to this a year ago, I believe, and it was voted down. But I'm hoping that this year we can do it this way. It's a little simpler. It would catch a lot of people in the net, and I just think it would be a terrific event to give out purple ribbons.
I remember this. Basically, what was offered last year was the table.
Correct.
Yeah.
At the Galleria.
Yes. And basically
This is more generic.
It's more generic. To me, it's more acceptable because I think people shopping last year, I just didn't think that was a great idea. I think this is a great idea. It really is. Because there's a presentation by any number of groups, Women's Commission and your group, all the students. This, I think, would be a real workable thing. It said the third week in October, which is when the candlelight vigil is, too. Are you going to do this?
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I don't have a specific date
That
identified
seems like
for that
it's-
event yet, the Purple Ribbon event, but
Right. But they're suggesting it be in the third week, but I'm thinking of doing it on a weekend. So if we do the candlelight vigil on Thursday, we can always do Saturday, because that's when the most people are at the Galleria and at the Americana. We can set up in both places and catch everyone, as many people as we can.
Yes, Commissioner Cajoin.
I know, when I was reading, I know there is a domestic violence education support that for the young men's. Okay, can we do that in October and go to high schools again to educate them that this violence is or
I'm sorry, I'm not sure.
Well, I will tell you this, although historically October is a very full month with all of these different events, and we do throughout the year go into the high school to talk about
domestic violence.
Dating, violence, domestic. You, as a commissioner, if you have something specific that you have set up during October that you would like to do and represent us at, you can certainly look at it in that direction. But as it relates to this Purple Ribbon event, what we're specifically looking at is action for the staff in regards to working through the remaining details. Commissioner Devine?
As far as education, in the schools in January, we do the Hands and Words program because that's that's when the Yellow Ribbon Week is. So doing it at this time is educational, and it's a different timing. So we are really educating at the same time if we put in the Hands and Words component, which I think is really, it's fun. The kids love it. The parents, I've had parents get down on their knees and take the pledge. So it's really worthwhile. And I think it's, if we can get all the commission there volunteering and doing this pledge, you will understand and see how beneficial and educational that this is. So that's my comment.
So we need a motion in terms of...
I have a comment,
Yes.
if I may. Yes, I happened to be at the Board of Education meeting a few years back when they did the Hands and Words, and it is extremely powerful to see that. And I think it would be an excellent idea to raise awareness. And I would just like to speak a little bit from my part of town. In addition to the Americana and the Galleria, the Montrose Harvest Market has a lot of people up north, and it's fairly easy to have a booth there with the same kind of information
Great.
to spread the awareness around, and that covers the unincorporated area too, which is part of the school district.
Yeah. And if I can,
Yes,
Miller,
Commissioner Devine.
we can actually do all three on the same day, and then
That
we'd
would be
be
a Sunday.
covering. That'd be
It's a Sunday.
Split up.
Yeah, well, that's okay. We could do it all on a Sunday. We could do it on a Sunday. Saturday, Sunday, but it's a great idea.
That is a great idea. Thank you for suggesting that. And also, a lot of great discussion has come out of this and a lot of motivation. So I think that we are in consensus, or at least in terms of putting a motion forward, to move on planning and reporting on the Purple Ribbon event. So do I have a motion?
I move as we have discussed.
And do we have a second? Okay, and seeing that we have a consensus, we can move on to the next item. Great. Thank you so much, everyone, for all of your time and input and dedication to this topic. October is a very important month for us in terms of collaborating with our community partners as well as elevating the status of women and girls in our community. So thank you very much. Next item.
Okay, next is under 5B, reports for information only, is 5B2, community resources for young women coming out of jail or prison.
Thank you. With us today is Moises Carrillo, our Senior Community Development Supervisor. In response to Commissioner Kojayan's request for, are there any resources in our community for young women coming out of jail or prison, staff did a little bit of research to find out what is currently available in the community, and Moises Carrillo is here to provide you with a report.
Thank you, Teresa. As Teresa mentioned, I am with the Human Services section of the Community Service and Parks Department. It's a pleasure to be here. Chair Miller and members of the Commission and staff. Our section is involved with a lot of community groups, as you know, and we do a lot of work with the agencies, and we wanted to really appreciate that question that was brought up about those services that are available for women, young women coming out of jails or prison. And our research started off with certain core groups that are available here in Glendale that really address the issues of preventative juvenile issues or young women, and also the after effects of women who are incarcerated from the prison or jail system. The report, since the report, we did have additional resources that came available to us to address this issue, and we certainly will provide that for you. But the main ones we looked at here in Glendale, of course, are core services for these types of issues, and those were Didi Hirsch, as you know, of their mental health services, All for Health, which is for physical health, and also Neighborhood Legal Services of Los Angeles County, which provides a number of assistance for women. Those are what we feel are core, along with, of course, the Verdugo Job Center, which provides the employment aspect of services to women and to all in general. But the new agencies we found were Friends Outside in Los Angeles County, which is a direct provider of services for women incarcerated from the jail system, either the county jails, the state prison systems, or in this case, unfortunately, not juvenile hall, but they are a Pasadena-based agency, and they will service Glendale residents for this type of service. And we know the case managers there, and they're willing to assist us. There's also Health Right 360, which is an LA-based agency which provides similar services for LA County, and they also do work in the prison systems, jail systems for women, young women. Again, they are adult-based for those 18 and over. Additional sources also came up from READY, which is a resource fair coalition of agencies providing free resources for ex-offenders. Those are for persons incarcerated and especially for women. And they do provide employment, housing, mental health services, aid services, public benefit assistance, but they also service only adults, and they are based in Los Angeles. Their fairs are based on a coalition of agencies in the Los Angeles area that provide these services to women. What we found out that there are a number of agencies in Glendale that provide that preventative services type of services, including the Camp Rosie, of course, being one of the programs, but there's also programs from the Star Youth Program, which is put out of Police Department, Salvation Army, as we know of ARC Family Center, and the Glendale YMCA, which provide those preventative type of programs. What we found that there are probably less juvenile-oriented programs for girls and boys who are in the juvenile system, whether that be a juvenile hall or a camp. like some of the camps for girls. So we are looking at several agencies that are outside of our area to identify those resources. However, some do not cover the Glendale area. They're based in the valley, but we are looking at working with them as a referral base. So in general, we do have some resources. We do have agency that will provide these services to young women 18 and over that can handle the cases and referrals made out to them. Of course, our main attempt is preventative, and programs like Camp Rosie, the other programs, are certainly very important to keep that issue not an issue. So I just want to report there are some new agencies that we found out, and we'll continue to get resources and information that might be available in case this comes up for our staff. But I'm here to answer any questions that the Commission might have. If there are any other additional resources or programs that we could look at, certainly we're interested in all that.
Commissioner Kajoyan.
Okay. I think it's a great work, all these agencies, what they do to and support our women finding a job, which give them self-worth and ability to contribute to their life. But my concern is there is any additional help, like counseling sessions or support program, for example, to prevent them to do the crime again. For example, lecture them how to repeat this crime, how to get anger control, self-sufficient, giving them moral support. I know I spoke with Sergeant Lorenzo Tom, and he said they don't have anything specific to support this woman, only they can send them to these agencies to find them a job. And also I spoke with Dr. Hagopian in Glendale College, and I spoke to psychotherapist Gina Mardian, and she said this is a good idea to go forward. My concern is there is anything in Glendale that we can support community in. I understand all this is they finding them a job, but do they help them, prevent them, or giving them?
Commissioner Kajanian, yes, I mean, these agencies are preventative. D.D. Hirsch does provide mental health services, including behavioral type of activities such as, delinquency prevention, counseling for the parents, family counseling. We know ARC Family Center. Dr. Kudavarian is very involved with youth and providing these kind of programs to youth. It's a matter of directing the students to the programs. The schools also are a direct link to these agencies that I mentioned. They're able to refer these students to these agencies. And if a person is a juvenile and getting in trouble, they do have probation officers which also provide them the services to them. So there are a number of services besides just employment. Again, I mentioned mental health. The legal services are very important, especially for young women who have restraining orders that need to be completed, or there's issues of domestic violence. Then they also are a very important piece to this solution. But there are other agencies outside that would provide that mentoring, which really is part of the solution, and the counseling that someone needs to get back into the world, because there's a lot of other challenges once you are incarcerated with a record and other, probably more so, counseling issues and mental health. But we will continue to provide this information in our resource guide and certainly advise the Commission to our other updates. This was a very good topic you brought up, and we definitely want to have this available for our staff because it's something that had not been questioned before, and we do want to make sure that we cover ourselves for services that our Glendale residents need.
Thank you. Great. Vice Chair Burns.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello.
The National Girls Institute is not funded to serve Glendale. I wondered why that was.
Yes, Commissioner Burns. The Commission, when I spoke to the Girls Institute, they're actually a federally funded based research agency, and actually a very interesting group.
Yeah.
They're funded to do research health care for women and girls who are been incarcerated, and they could only, right now, the grant only prohibits them in the Los Angeles area. They have spoken to us, and myself, as far as possibly expanding to other areas or providing this resource, which is a health survey, to residents of Glendale, but it may be a fee-based program, and that's something we haven't evaluated.
Well, it appears to be federally funded, correct?
Correct.
So why would it be fee-based?
Well, it would be for Los Angeles area. Their grant covers only Los Angeles area. They are based in Los Angeles, and they would certainly welcome to cover Glendale, but they'll need to request funds for
Would
services.
this be something that the Women's Commission might give a grant to? To have them come in?
Go ahead.
Commissioner Burns, if you like, I can expand on their services. They're actually a very unique service. They were actually one of an agency that was highlighted in the Los Angeles Times article on girls in prison and the services, the lack of services that they receive once they're incarcerated and also out of incarceration. And they certainly have asked if there's any information either our department, our section, would like to have, or the commission would like to have, and ask them. They're certainly welcome to come. They're not far away, and address the commission on a report item, and ask, certainly follow up with questions for them. But they are here locally, and they are certainly welcome to come in and speak to you. I think they're a great resource for us, and it's just a matter of what could we work with them on, not just probably juvenile, but also probably a broader range of issues dealing with girls and especially young women.
Commissioner Kajoin.
Chair, if we can agendize this subject.
If we could agendize the, having staff look into having someone come from this group to speak to us. Is that your question?
Yes.
Well, we can contact them. Whether or not they would accept would be different. And is this something that is the consensus of the commission? Is that what the commission wishes that to do? Because that's generally been the practice, to have at least 2 commissioners request that an item come back.
Do I have a second commissioner who's requesting this information?
I'll support it.
Commissioner Weissman? Okay. Do I need a motion on this, or can we just request that staff agendize it? Okay. Any other comments?
I was just looking, Chair Miller, to see if there was a month on our calendar which this would fit into the focus, and maybe we could do it that way. But I have a question for Mr. Carrillo. Do we have any idea how many women we have in Glendale that are on parole or parolees, probation?
Commissioner
How
Devine,
many are we talking about?
We haven't done that research as far as the numbers go. We could request on numbers as far as those who are in our jail system or coming from the county's system. There's probably a way of tracking that number. If the commission so desires, we can get that information from.
Because I think it's important that we know, are we dealing with one woman or 100 women, or, is it is there a great need for this in our community? And my second comment is, I hope that Ms. Alexanian, that you put all of these resources, this information, which you didn't do a little work, you did a lot of work, and I commend you and your staff for all of this research that you did, but to make sure that all of this information gets on this resource guide so that women that are out in the community have this available to them. Even if it's Los Angeles based, I think it's still important that they have a number to call. At least we will be providing them with that information.
Thank you. Yes, we do.
That's a good suggestion to add to our resource guide, that as we're going forward, especially since it's so timely with the upgrade of that at this point.
Yes, Chair Miller, Commissioner Devine, I noted that, and we'll make sure to get those resources on the resource guide.
Right.
Okay.
Commissioner Kajoin?
I propose that we can try to provide or to have a subcommittee chair for this. And I'm bringing this to the commission, that what's next step, how we implement this?
I think if we could get to the question of need, again, thank you so much, Commissioner Kajoyan, for being so passionate about this and doing a lot of work. Let's start there. Equally grateful as we are to our city and for all the work that you have done and all the resources that you have provided, Mr. Carrillo. As we look further in this, I think what's going to indicate the next step is really the need, and we aren't completely sure of the exact need at this point.
Right.
So if there's a way to come back and report to us on the need so that we could revisit this request that's being asked by a commissioner?
Chair Miller, just for clarification, do we want to maybe research the need before we contact?
Yes.
Okay, just for
That's
clarification.
exactly, yes.
Okay. So if there's a consensus from the commission, we'll come back with what the need is and how many women in our community would need such services.
And then that would tell us the next step.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any other comments from the commission? Okay. Seeing no further comments, if we could go to the next item.
Item 5B3, NACW Conference Update. Oral report.
I have a few photos from the conference that both Commissioner Devine and I attended. This national, July 24th through the 27th, both Commissioner Devine and I attended the conference for the National Association of Commission on the Status of Women in San Jose, California. It was a powerful three-day conference filled with topics related to public policy priorities, such as civil and human rights, economic security, pay equity, violence against women, work and family issues, health, social media, and elevating the status of women. There are state, county, and city commissioners for women and commissions on the status of women across 10 regions of the United States. This is the theme of the conference, The Bridge to Equality, because it is the 50th anniversary of American Women Report of the President's Commission on the Status of Women. The commission movement began in as early as 1959 when the United Nations expressed concern about the status of women around the world. This is what led to now being called the National Association of Commission on the Status of Women. In no short order, it was followed by an executive order in 1961 by President Kennedy, and then a 22-month study of the major aspects of women's activities in American life. This study, this executive order, created a blueprint or a call for action to provide greater opportunities for women. Interestingly, the late Eleanor Roosevelt was named chairman by the president, noting that her devotion to fuller realization of the abilities of women in all walks of life and all countries raised the status of women everywhere. One of the topics that we both attended was, on the first day, was Equal Pay Symposium. August 26, 2013 marks the anniversary of the Equal Rights Amendment, often referred to as Women's Equality Day. We have made many gains in the last 50 years, and yet there's still work to do. We must stay focused and vigilant in our efforts to close the wage gap, ensure equal pay for equal work. And to do this, continuing this process, the Commission had a panel discussion led by a lot of great and noteworthy speakers. Linda Lee, the program analyst from the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, that's her on the photo. Esther Perales-Diekman from the Office of Women's Policy for Santa Clara. We had Dr. Martha Burke, co-founder of the Center for Advancement of Public Policy, behind the podium. That's myself with Elmi Bermejo, who is the Director of Intergovernmental Affairs for the U.S. Department of Labor. When the Equal Pay Act was passed in 1963, the median earnings for women working full-time year-round was 59 cents for every dollar that men earned. Today, women make 77 cents to the dollar, a wage that is narrowed by an average of less than half a penny a year. The pay disparity also increases with age and race. We also had the opportunity to listen to Miss Betty Dukes. You may know this story. She was the lead plaintiff in the largest class action civil rights case in America's history. It's called Dukes versus Walmart. She was motivating and inspirational. She had quite a following in the room, and her lawsuit seeks to provide women the same career advancements afforded men. Kamala Lopez is an award-winning actress, screenwriter, director, and producer. Lucky for us, she's local. She's the founder and executive director of the ERA Education Project, a new national media campaign to educate the public about the need to ratify the Equal Rights Amendment. She is the founding director of the Los Angeles Bureau of Global Girl Media, which nurtures the voice and self-expression of young girls internationally. Next, we viewed a screening of The Invisible War. What you're seeing here is Kate Weber. She's an Army veteran and a military sexual trauma advocate. Katie was our keynote lecturer on the final day of conference. Following this film, which she was actually in the film, Katie is the one, she's standing there actually with Girl Scouts. A local Girl Scouts group came. Their executive director was one of our speakers, and so they were invited for the entire day and were so moved, as was the entire audience, by this screening of The Invisible War. Kate has the red shoes on and the khaki pants, and she might be small, but she is rather mighty in what her delivery of message is, which is just because it's not acknowledged doesn't mean that it did not exist. It pretty much sums up her attitude about all of this as she continues to speak out against sexual trauma in the military. I happen to also attend, separately from my Commissioner Devine, I attended another seminar about the impact of women in leadership roles. The panel discussed how appointing women to corporate boards and promoting women in corporation increases the bottom line, affects policy, and impacts the next generation. What's interesting is this is really, in a sense, for lack of a better term, there was one group in there that is like a watchdog panel, and they really go out and seek out those companies that support women versus those that do not. One company that they identified clearly does not have any women in their top corporate structures, Open Table. And so the Open Table, as you may know, is the website that you can go and request a reservation for a restaurant. So they actually did a public media right there at the conference. They sent a message by video with all of the attendees asking Open Table to support more women in board positions. Lastly, Commissioner Devine and I had a great opportunity to have a very personal and candid luncheon with our local and fellow commissioners from Los Angeles and Los Angeles County, as well as Pasadena, and we were able to discuss how we might collaborate going forward in the future. Now, in terms, I thought at this point, Commissioner Devine, I would have you jump in with some of the additional seminars that you attended, and then we'll close it down.
Okay. All right. Well, there were at least 30 states represented at this conference, from Maine to Florida, Texas, California, and then on to Hawaii. So it was a great cross-section of state and county and city commissions. The conferences that I went to, I will be very brief, or try to be as brief as I can, telling you about them, but the important thing that I want to do is to let you know the ideas that we came away with. And you notice, please, that I have my Bridge to Equality T-shirt on, so if I'm glitzy, that's what it is, okay? So the first, I want to give kudos, and I know they'll never hear this and they'll never see it, but to Suzanne Doty and Phyllis Gordon from Santa Clara and Contra Costa counties for putting this on. It was a huge endeavor, but they did a great job. Okay, the first seminar I attended, and this is good for our two ex officios because eventually they are going to be put in this position. The forum or the workshop was called The Wage Project. And it is, we were spoken to by the National Director of the Wage Project, Project. And what they do is they help to facilitate the Wage Smart workshops, dollar signs. They have, it's a college and university class that they teach on, and the workshops are taught on 350 college campuses right now. And the reason they teach them is because girls, when you graduate from college, you will be earning 82% of what your male counterparts will be earning. And it continues. And the thought behind this is that your first salary has to be as high as you can get it, because that's where you will end up. In other words, if you start low, when you finally retire, you're going to be low in the amount of money that you're making. So what these seminars do is they teach you how to decide on your career, where, for instance, like where you want to be, what your career is going to be, and what salary you want to be earning. Then they tell you how to negotiate. They teach you how to negotiate your salaries. And maybe some of our young ladies over here that are looking at me could use some of this training. And they teach you in negotiating your salaries, tone, tactics, and negotiating skills. And the interesting thing, what I brought back from this is the fact that they do this in collaboration with the AAUW, the American Association of University Women. So if the Commission has a mind to, we could collaborate with the AAUW and have one of these classes taught on the campus of Glendale Community College, so that you girls would have a chance, and other girls would have a chance to learn exactly how to approach your first job, your first career, and your first salary, because that is going to set the pace for the rest of your lives. Okay, so that was very good. And if any of the AAUW members are watching out there, if you go to the website www.wageproject.org, you can find out about this seminar and consider talking to the Commission about this, and I'll be coming to you about that. Second was how to engage female veterans. Lindsay Sin, the Deputy Secretary of Women's Vets, was a speaker, along with Rebecca Blanton, who is the Director of the State Commission on the Status of Women. California has the highest number of vets, female vets, in the United States. We have 185,000 vets in our state. So it's very important that we have programs to help these female vets. The push at this particular seminar was to celebrate Women's Military History Week, and that is the third week in March. And so I thought, well, perhaps the third week in March, this commission could do something about the women in the military, the history of it. In the schools, we could we could think about, if all of you commissioners could think about something, a project that we could do. Interesting. Here's an interesting fact. I wish Chris Carson was here because I know she would enjoy this. The first female vet ever was from the Revolutionary War. Not the Civil War, not World War I, but the Revolutionary War. And she had to disguise herself as a man in order to get into the military. Her name was Deborah Sampson, and her alias was Robert Shirtleft. So women vets go all the way back to the Revolutionary War. So that was another one. Katie Weber, whom Chair Miller mentioned, she is a disabled, retired Army veteran. She is disabled because of PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, due to MST, military sexual trauma. She is now advocating for women vets who are survivors of sexual assault in the military. Her story, as she said, was in the Invisible War. She's trying to amend legislation with Congressman Jackie Speer, but she had suggestions for local commissions and how we can help vets. And these are a couple of the ideas that we brought back that this commission, again, can think about. Number one, an internship program. And I thought, well, internships for vets. We could call it a VIP, a veterans internship program, and perhaps we can get Parks and Rec or Community Services to offer one internship to a vet, a female vet. And if she learns the job, either we can, maybe if we have room, we can provide her with the job, or she at least learns the skills so that she can move on and find a job for herself. That's one suggestion. The other suggestion she had was a scholarship. A lot of times, female vets don't have money for education, for childcare, for food, for rent, transportation. And so my thought was that this commission, maybe during the Jules Luncheon, we could maybe this year establish a vets scholarship and maybe find a veteran in our community that is in need of help, and this commission can help her. Another suggestion. Finally, the last one was the California Partnership to End Domestic Violence. This one focused on the adverse effect of domestic violence on children, young girls, and young women. And the researchers showed that young women and girls who are subject to domestic violence die younger. I guess it's the trauma of that. And so the focus that they are insisting that the commissions do is to put safe dating in the focus. Well, this commission has already done that. We have the safe dating we worked with the Safe Family Task Force, and we have it in the curriculum now in the 9th grade. They talked about bullying and how we have to change the environment of the school, that education is not enough. It's changing the environment. Sex trafficking and how young girls are recruited because they're alone, because they're part of a dysfunctional family, foster homes, etc. And the last was elder abuse. Elder abuse is 25 years behind all the other abuse, the domestic violence abuse and children being abused. So there's a lot of work to be done in that one. So it was a very informative and inspiring and motivational conference. It's always good when you can come away with new friends, as we did, and with new ideas. And now I'll hand it back to
Thank
Chair
you.
Miller.
Thank you, Commissioner Devine. A couple of things to point out to the entire commission. As you know, we voted last month to be the sponsor on the bags, and every single person at this conference received one of these bags, which says Conference Bags Compliments of the City of Glendale. Ms. Alexandrian, we would like to get on the agenda of presenting this to our City Council, so that I think it was very moving as we went through this to see there were so many ideas, so many suggestions, so many programming things that came up that you can see from listening to Commissioner Devine as we sat together all the different ideas that were just flowing about where this particular commission could go. The good news is that so much of the themes and the topics that came up also brought home the point of how organized, how dedicated, and how much of a front runner this commission is, not only in the state of California, but throughout the United States. So we were very pleased with that. Now, if we could actually go back, I have just a couple more slides as we close this report. I just want everyone to know, talk about raising awareness. This was on the floor. This was on the floor of our hotel, which meant every single person who was staying at that hotel in San Jose saw our theme, Bridge to Equality. I actually purchased an apron with the same logo, Bridge to Equality, because I thought that would be really cool as I was in the kitchen cooking, send the right message about that bridge to equality amongst many other things. And it also has a little bit of bling as well, correct, Commissioner Devine? So it's lovely. But what's important here is just something as simple as this raised awareness about the commission, our work, knowing that we were present in the building and had people asking us about the things that we do. Please keep in mind that August 26, 2013 is the anniversary of the Equal Rights Amendments. Again, we've made many gains in our history, but we are still lagging behind on equal pay. We are in a position to lead efforts within our state and beyond the state borders that can bring an end to many things like this, as well as raise awareness. I do want to just point out one website so that people can see what's already been programmed and put together as a platform for sending letters to governors in all 50 states. It's www.equalrights.org, equal dash, no space, equal dash pay dash today. So again, that's www.equalrights.org/equal-pay-today. And if you go there and you see the letters that are prepared and you consider signing your name to it, that would help to continue to mobilize our efforts to address this topic. And on to our continued commitment to our mission. I do want you to know that picture of the Capitol is not a postcard. I took that right off of my phone when I was on Capitol Hill last September. Great things happen when you're up at the break of dawn and on Capitol Hill before 7 a.m. in the morning. And I just happened to look back and snap up, and that picture has become very motivational for me. When we think of the number of active commissions that have declined in recent years, mostly due to budget cuts and some due to political partnership, we know that we still have work to do. From a number of 230 commissions down to a number of 200, we know that while those numbers have declined in Glendale, the good news is that we are self-funded, we are mobilized, and we're committed to elevating the status of women in our community. This quote, which is from President Barack Obama, says, "We must carry forward the work of the women who came before us, ensure our daughters have no limits on their dreams, no obstacles to their achievements, and no remaining ceilings to shatter." It is my hopes that we are guided by the policies set forth to us as a commission by previous generations, and that we can continue to work for the secured, elevated status of that we can work together as a commission for these generations to come. It was a very worthwhile conference to attend. It really mobilized us in many of the discussions that we hope will come out. You can see already all of the ideas and suggestions that are coming forth. I think it's going to be a great year, and I look forward to working with all of you on these very important issues. Before we go on to our closing comments, I do want to just circle back on one business item and make sure that our 2 student ex officios, just so that you don't have to contact them, Ms. Alexandrian, afterwards, I do want to let you know that when we meet as a committee for the new students, that you are welcome to attend. Although you would not have a vote, you would be welcome and invited, and we would be gracious for the feedback that you might provide us on if there can be 2 exceptional students like yourselves to replace you. So please let Ms. Alexandrian know if that is your interest, and we will make it happen. Did you want to comment? Yes, okay. And with that, we are going to go to the next item on the agenda.
Sure. The next item is 5B4, Commission on the Status of Women's 2013 Master Calendar of Events.
Okay, and do we have anything to report on this?
No, the calendar has been updated with, it's been updated and it's before you, so I'm not sure if Commission has anything new to add to the calendar. Otherwise, there isn't anything new to report.
No, I think this is the calendar for the remainder of 2013. I think we'll continue on that, but we will begin discussion on our next calendar at the next meeting, correct?
We could agendize that for the next meeting.
Okay, great. Next item.
Item 6, Commissioner Staff Comments.
I wanted to start here tonight and first say how pleasing it is to have a full commission. Although some of you are departing, and we will miss that, which we've already indicated, we are very grateful to our City Council, both Council Member Sinanian and Council Member Friedman for supporting and appointing and identifying very willing people to this commission, and we all look forward to working together. July had some very interesting themes. I started off the month attending a book signing with Commissioner Devine and Commissioner Kajoyan for Deborah Collins. Deborah Collins, as you know, was our speaker last month on her books, Crossing Over Boundaries. It is a hard read, and then a joyous one as you see her in person. I think when we think, you'll find in the spirit of Eleanor Roosevelt, since that came up so much at our conference, talk about a brave and courageous and looking fear in the face of, looking head on in the face of adversity and excelling. She epitomizes every part of that, and it's a pleasure to know her, and I hope that she will continue to be involved with our commission and going forward. We also attended, Commissioner Devine, Commissioner Kajoyan, we attended the Comfort Women Memorial that took place. That was also very moving, and again, it continued to signify the courageous aspects, first of our City Council, to have that memorial here in the City of Glendale in light of much comments and highlights from in the national arena, but to continue to go forth with that. I think what echoed when I was when I was watching the memorial, coming fresh off the conference in San Jose, was exactly the words that Kate Weber spoke, which was, just because you do not acknowledge it does not mean that it didn't exist. So we have a wonderful memorial, the first ever in Glendale. We are the first in the Western United States to have this, and I think that that in and of itself speaks, regardless of what any of us believe, it speaks for the openness and the ability to be diverse in a community and yet to still go forward and acknowledge at least those beliefs of some. As you know, we attended the NACW meeting and came back with a great load of suggestions, a great load of ideas. I do so much want to thank this commission for their vote of confidence in my leadership and for electing me to be chair. I hope that tonight is only a window to the dynamic and ongoing discussion that we will have. I hope that we are able to focus also specifically, while we have been very good at our events and our programming, although we do not make policy, and although we certainly can look at the policy, as became very evident at this conference, and make suggestions, or at least have a dialogue and a discussion about those things that are most important to women, such as wage equity, reducing domestic violence, getting on corporate boards. I thought what I might do is just quote a couple of things before we turn it over to staff to say from Eleanor Roosevelt, since we're looking at, and that we gain strength and courage and confidence by every experience in which we really stop to look fear in the face. We must do that which we think we cannot. And that would be the request that I would put forward as we really mobilize as a commission and where we might go. Further, to quote Eleanor Roosevelt, I found this one, and I thought, as a leader and the chair, I thought, I'm going to have to remember this and channel it when she says, do what you feel is right in your heart to be right, for you'll be criticized anyway. You'll be damned if you do and damned if you don't. And then lastly, she also, on a lighter note, she also indicated that a woman is like a tea bag, and you can't tell how strong she is until you see her in hot water. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to some other commissioners for comment, and I thought we would start down with our new commissioner with us today, Ms. Weissman.
Well, thank you. I don't have any comments, though, this evening.
We look forward to future comments and input. Yes.
My turn. I can't believe it's already been a year since we began. It feels like it was just yesterday. I loved being a part of this and hope that the new student ex officios had just as much fun on this board as I know both of us did. And I'd also like to congratulate Prom Plus, which is Crescenta Valley High School's after prom party. They're just beginning their 20th anniversary this year of providing it's an after prom party from midnight to 5 in the morning for all CV High School prom attendees, and they raised $25,000 for that event. So, congratulations.
Thank you. Commissioner Kajoyan?
Welcome and congratulations, Commissioner Burns, Commissioner Wiseman, on your appointment to the City of Glendale Commission on the Status of Women. All of us together, we can make a difference in the life of women in our community, and we can reach our goals and expectations. On July 14, I attended Deborah Collins' book signing with Chair Miller and Commissioner Paula at Glendale Central Library, Crossing Over the Boundaries, a journey of a child, abuse, destruction, recovery, and self-discovery. I can say that she was a woman of courage, determination, and bravery. She's a great example to women in her condition, and I can say her, if there is a will, there is a way. On July 30th, also I attended Glendale Central Library installation of Comfort Woman status, and it was a solemn moment and touchy day for me. I admire the city of Glendale supporting and believing in human rights. I just want to say thank you to the city of Glendale for great ideas. As an Armenian, it was very touchy. I felt it in my heart and the blood that it runs in my vein. It happened to the Armenian women. They jumped into the river Tigris to escape the torture and rape from the Turkish soldiers. I'm sure this happened during the Holocaust in Rwanda. We can't let it happen again. At the same afternoon, as we mentioned, me and Commissioner Devine visited Camp Rosie, and it was the self-defense session. I think, this is a joke, I can say with this new technology and text messages and emails, we reach to different organizations, individuals that serve our mission and the purpose, we reach our goals. That's why we are here to serve. What I mean is, we were, a week before, we were saying we are going to cancel it, but with this new technology, we reach our goals with 22 girls. On July 31st, me and 8 members of Armenian Relief Society and Commissioner Devine, we attended luncheon at the Iranahai Armenian Society of Los Angeles, hosted by Glendale Adventist Medical Center. Life Well program director was Ms. Denise Miller. It was a wonderful luncheon. And the physician, Dr. Emil Evanes, talked about the arthritis. And there was a questions and answers session, and Dr. Emil gave a valuable information. And it was very good luncheon. Thank you, Ms. Devine.
First off, I want to say it was an honor serving on this commission. I've learned a tremendous amount. And this fall, I will be attending UC Santa Barbara, and I hope to take what I learned here to their commission or any sort of program they have for women over there, and use the facts that I learned here and use it there and continue my advocacy for women. So I just want to say thank you for the opportunity. It was wonderful serving on the commission. Thank you.
Commissioner Devine?
Just a brief comment on the Deborah Collins book signing. She mentioned that the way she found help in her time of crisis was by finding a resource card that had the Salvation Army number and a Sensia phone number on the card. And so that is why I'm so happy that we're going to do the resource cards for our community, because she said that that saved her life. And if we can do that with our resource guides, what more can we do? It's fabulous. So I thank Debbie Collins for mentioning that. The dedication to comfort women, I also want to commend the City Council and also to congratulate Chang Lee for initiating this whole Comfort Women statue and dedication. We went last year when he had the whole the workshop with Bach Long there, and it was Commissioner Burns was there as well. Just another example of how women are collateral damage during war. You know, we are the weaker, we are the vulnerable, and we are violated. And so this statue serves as a beacon to women everywhere who live with violence and who live in violence, that they are not alone, and that there are people out in this world that are thinking of them and trying to help them. Two events coming up. First is a tour of Rockhaven, and that's coming up. I don't know if you are familiar with Rockhaven. It was a mental hospital for women back in the day, and I'm not sure of the dates. Maybe Commissioner Weissman knows those dates. Do you know the date when that was?
I believe they started in the 1920s.
20s. And Marilyn Monroe was there, if I remember correctly.
Marilyn Monroe's mother.
Her mother was a patient, yes.
Yes, Agnes Richards started the sanitarium. She was a nurse in World War I and came home and was appalled at how bad mental health was dealt with then. And she, and then it's her granddaughter who continued into this century with that facility. So I'm delighted to hear you speak of Rockhaven.
Yes, and they're opening it for tours, and it'll be on September 7th. And they're going to do 2 tours, one at 10 a.m. and one at 1 p.m. And if you're interested, you have to make reservations. Are you going to?
I was just going to clarify, the tours are not open to the public.
Oh, it's just Friends of Rockhaven?
Yes, it's just friends of members,
oh,
so
no
it won't
kidding.
be open to the public yet.
Okay, gee, I'm awfully sorry about that.
Sorry.
Okay, well, I'll see you there at 1 p.m. Sure.
People could join Friends of Rockhaven.
There you go. Yeah.
Right.
It's a lovely facility.
Yeah.
Particularly the garden. You know, you can still see remnants of how it was in its heyday.
Okay, but then I have another event that everybody can go to, and that's the Glendale Healthy Kids Guess Who's Coming to Dinner event. And we're real excited about it because we have 10 venues, 10 menus, and 10 places to meet wonderful people. We're doing it on 2 weekends this year, so the September 14th, 15th, and September 28th, 29th. And we have generous hosts, we have fabulous homes, and great cuisine. We have, I just want to give a couple of examples because I'm really excited about this whole thing. We have one home is going to do tapas. He happens to own a Spanish restaurant in Hollywood, North Hollywood, I believe, and he's going to have flamenco dancers and food and wine, etc. We're going to have a black and white cocktail party up in the hills of Glendale, and they're going to have Philharmonic and tickets to the bowl and beautiful hors d'oeuvres. We also have the police department, the fire department is doing an event, and everybody's going to receive, and this isn't on your invitations, but I'm telling you tonight, everyone who goes will receive a tote from Bloomingdale's. The new store is donating 500 totes, and once you get the totes and Bloomingdale's opens, you can take your tote to Bloomie's and they will inscribe it for you. So that's the swag at Glendale Healthy Kids. So if you're interested, call 818-548-7931 or go to glendalehealthykids.org on the internet, 548-7931, or call me. I'll set you up with some tickets. I want to thank the ex officios and wish you all the best. You've been delightful and took to the cameras. I have to compliment you on that because that is sometimes not an easy task, and you were a quick study, and I wish you all the best in your future endeavors. It's been a pleasure. And I have to congratulate Commissioner Burns because we did a good job, didn't we?
We sure did.
We sure did. Okay. And I'd like to welcome the new commissioners and just say, reiterate that it's great to have the Party of Five back again. It's been a while. Thank you all.
Thank you. Vice Chair Burns?
Oh, what I can say to follow all of this. However, I'm going to try. I'm going to suggest that any group, club, organization that is having an event come and mention it. You know, there's no reason why you are not going to be able to tell the rest of the community what you're doing. And for the last time, I'm going to talk about Glendale Beautiful. They're having their fall dinner on September the 6th. And it certainly is, it's a fun event. And Glendale Beautiful takes care of the Casa Adobe, and we're also part of Arbor Day. And I believe, 7,000 trees have been planted because of Glendale Beautiful and Arbor Day. So if you're interested in going to the fall dinner, I would give a phone number, but I don't think that's correct. You can certainly call me, and I'll pass it along. And I really have a lovely thing I want to do now. I'm really proud of this. I'm going to talk about Denise Miller. And she was appointed to the California Occupational Therapy License Board by Governor Brown. Miller has been the director of the Live Well Senior Program at Glendale Adventist Medical Center since 2011. She has served in various positions at the medical center, including manager of physician relations and coordinator of occupational and hand therapy from 2001 to 2011. She was an ergonomic consultant from 1998 to 2002 and traveled worldwide. That's cool. To work with industries to help reduce repetitive motion disorders and back injuries with their employees. Denise is a noted author with various chapters in books and contributing column writer in health publications on topics of health, wellness, injury prevention, ergonomics, and job analysis. Denise is involved in giving back to the Glendale community. She currently is the chair. This was written before she was now the chair on the Commission on the Status of Women. She's also on the board of the Glendale Police Foundation and the 2012 Woman of the Year honoree by the Glendale Latino Association. And I'm really, really happy to present her as our new head of the commission, and congratulations. This is really wonderful.
Thank you.
Really, we're honored by Governor Brown.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for your comments, your insight, and thank you very much. It is a really big honor to move into my profession, specifically in this role, where you look not only at regulation and oversight. It really will put me in the aspect of really focusing on the consumer in a different way and seeing everything through the consumer's eyes versus that of just a licensed occupational therapist. I will tell you, prior to moving back to Glendale, I was a resident and did grow up here, but I did spend a large portion of my college years, and thereafter I went to the University of St. Catherine in St. Paul, Minnesota, and only because it matters to the Commission, it's the largest women's college in North America, by the way. Catholic women's college in North America. But that being said, when I was an ergonomic consultant, I can tell you that I analyzed every job from loading gas into planes to watching what happens at the Hormel industry when a pig goes from being a pig. Is that the correct term to use for that? Slaughtered. No, I wasn't going to use that term. I was just going to say when they're a pig and then they're bacon. There's about 43 job processes in between. I've analyzed them, so I'm a lot tougher than I look. As well as having to put on a jumpsuit and jump into the dump. Here's what I walked away with. I have a great job, and I really appreciate the work that all the people do. Every time you analyze a job, you come home and you're grateful for the work that you do and the work that they do. With that being said, our August meeting is closed and adjourned at 7:35 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you.